Today on the back seat, I'm delighted to have Kenya's famous photographer, Mutua Matheka, the Truthslinger himself.
Yep.
Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Most people, to be fair, are not able to make a living out of something like that. And there's a lot of photographers out there. You seem to have done that. Tell me about how that journey played out for you.
Ooh, it's been a long journey. Now I've been shooting now. I mean, it's long because it's 9 years, but by my intention, it's not a long journey. I feel like I'm just starting. And I'm a big fan of systems, like creating systems and things that work for you as an individual. I'm not a fan of systems in the larger scheme of things, but I like making systems, and I thought about what systems could I start making that ensure that I stay longer as a photographer. So what do I do to make sure it's profitable in the future? So things like registering a company, making sure it's tax compliant. That way I don't have problems in the future of the government coming after me. Deciding early enough, or at least working to figure out what my worth is, and what it should be compared to photographers all over the world. Looking up rates of photography in different ways. There are many ways pictures can be used. It can be a simple, hire me, I shoot pictures for you. But then beyond that, after I shoot the pictures, there is how are the pictures used? Because pictures are property, intellectual property.
Yes.
As a photographer, the minute I shoot a picture, the rights automatically are mine. If you commission me to shoot a picture, it means the rights are mine, but the rights are also yours. Meaning, if you just pay me a small amount of money and I shoot your pictures and the rights are mine, how those pictures are profitable in the future depends on how well I protect my copyright in terms of the agreements that we have. So things like those are important for me to keep an eye on.
So you went for a very structured approach. You're not ad hoc.
Yeah, and every day things are new. There's always court cases about, challenging the idea of ownership of things that are not tangible. But I think images are powerful things, and yes,
they belong to someone.
Yeah.
Now, you said something very important there, that patience is needed.
Yes.
So when you decided photography is going to be your profession, that from that time you were all in, but then you were patient. It's not that you lost interest after 6 months when there was no revenue.
No. In fact, the thing is, sometimes, I remember my first years, up to me shooting 4 years, it was like a steady incline. Things were going well, and then they get to somewhere where it's like a peak. And in that peak, sometimes things go down. And what I've found most of the time is that that's where most people quit and stop. Like when you've had a good 3 years, and then the 4th year is incredibly difficult. Most people are like, maybe my luck has run out. It's fine. I'm very fascinated by the idea of time and what time does for all of us. And I think 15, 20 years from now, or maybe 10 years from now, I might be the most successful photographer, not because I'm the best photographer, but because I'm still there. But what I find interesting is that sometimes that's the time to be creative, change strategies a little bit. Maybe that's when now you say, okay, waiting for people to ask me to shoot is a problem. So maybe I'm going to be more proactive.
Proactive marketing.
Am I going to take my portfolio and go out looking for the clients that I want? Instead of waiting for a client to hire me to shoot that, maybe I put my own money in shooting something like that, and then using it to attract the clients I want.
Who are these clients you want who actually end up paying for photography?
The simplest answer will be anyone with money, but
who appreciates
it. Yeah, but for me, because my focus is architecture and travel, my clients ideally are architects, interior architects, hotels, restaurants, anyone who creates architecturally something of great beauty and would like to capture it.
But for you, you've narrowed it to a couple of special fields of photography?
Yes.
And is that important in terms of success? You shouldn't just be there for any type of photo.
I think so. I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I've seen incredibly successful photographers who shoot anything.
Right.
So I will say really it depends on you. For me, I know I photographed weddings for about 3-4 years when I started, which is like the easiest way to kind of get into photography. People are always getting married and they will always need photography. But every time I was shooting a wedding, it's like a piece of my soul was dying. So when I got the opportunity to just live, I did.
So you'd rather shoot buildings?
I would rather shoot buildings.
And do you ever think, well, I could have been an architect also, and could that be a parallel universe?
Yeah, for sure.
It could have happened.
I think it could have happened. I think I might have found success there also. I think I might also have been happy doing that. But, I don't like dwelling on what could have been.
Sure. But here you are doing something you love.
Yeah.
So you wake up every morning and the place you're going to work and the work you're going to do is something you actually enjoy, which is not a gift most people on earth are given.
This is true.
But nonetheless, it always occurs to me that, because I'm in the same position, I enjoy my work, but it is still work.
It is still work.
And sometimes people think if you do the thing you love, then you're just having fun every day.
Yeah.
No, it's still a grind, isn't it?
It is. It's one of what used to be like one of the biggest fights with my wife.
Right.
Because when I needed to go work, and she felt like, you're just going out there to enjoy yourself. I'm like, look, I'm still working, but yes, I'm thoroughly enjoying myself, and I can't avoid that.
And I have no doubts that it's still demanding, it's still tiring, it's still... There are times you wish it would stop because you need a break.
This is true.
So it's not that dissimilar, but when you have that passion of you love it, now the standard also has to be high, yes?
Yes.
So when you're doing something you really love, you can't tolerate, I don't know what you think, you can't tolerate a lowering.
You can't tolerate when it's done poorly. I think the more you love something, the more you do it.
The more you want it to be great.
Yeah. And the more you do it, the more you know when it's not great, even when it's your own work. I take pictures and I'm like, it didn't come out the way I thought in my mind. It's not horrible, but it could have been better, but it's okay. I've done it, it's finished. I learn what I need to learn from it. Apply that in the next thing. You're
an artist, as you've just explained. It always strikes me, art is so important in the world, but not always given that status or given that economic reward. What do you think about the role of art in our world? In my mind, when I started shooting, I always thought, in this country, photographers should be one of the richest people. And someone asked me why. I said, any time that you're on the streets, how many times do you see a picture? You can't go 1 minute without seeing a picture. People who need to communicate anything can't do it without a picture. Yes.
Yet, photographers or people who work on images and artistic things are the most...
Yeah, it's just a picture.
Yeah.
We're not...
But when those pictures are not there, I think one day, if all pictures just suddenly disappeared in the world, then people would see like, okay, this thing is important. What would you say to young photographers starting out today? You 10 years ago, is the guy on the street now trying to do the hustle with photography. Yeah. Any couple of tips for them? First of all, they will make pictures that really suck. The pictures will be horrible. They will think those pictures are great. Right. But they will be horrible. The future you will see those pictures. Yes. In a few years, they will look back and be like, how did I think I was the best doing this? Yes. But that's okay. And which is why I never advise any photographers who are just starting out to start asking for money in that first year. Right. I'd rather that they spend the first year on the craft. Okay. Shooting a lot, but not being paid for it. And if you intend to do something, say, for 40 years, I suspect that the way you treat the first 5 years is very different from if you intend to do something for just 5 years. Yeah. I noticed there's been a sort of explosion of good Kenyan photographers, good African photographers. This is true. Probably in the last 5-10 years. Yeah. What do you think caused that? Where have they all come from? The internet has democratized a lot of things. Right. And as it Seth Godin says, industry is dead. especially when it comes to creative industries. What used to take 40 people now can take a 14-year-old on a computer an hour to do what 40 people did maybe for a week 20 years ago. So I think that has caused that explosion.
So you can showcase yourself much more easily now.
Exactly.
So you don't need a magazine to look for you. You don't need a gallery. You can put your stuff out.
All you need is buy a camera, work. So now everything has been reduced to your work, your effort. It's fully now your effort.
So the
more effort you put in, the higher chance of success.
The work has to speak for itself, doesn't it?
That's now the negative aspect of the democratization, is that the good stuff. And I remember, who is it? I can't remember who said it. Because you're saying a director, say like Hitchcock, starting now, we might never discover them. Not among the endless sea of noise.
Yeah, I think we're all competing for time and attention now, isn't it?
So there's so much. So for something good to float to the surface, it takes so much work. Or, in most cases, and I will say even my case, absolute sheer luck. That as the thing just floats to the surface, the right person might be passing by and sees it and is like, oh, wow, look at this. It's just chance. And I think that chance is also important.
Do you accept the role of chance in your life?
Yes, I know.
Most successful people will always tell you it's because I worked so hard.
No, I know.
I'm sure you worked hard.
The work is still there. I know that I've worked hard to be here, but I know that I could have worked hard and nobody sees it.
Yeah. And that keeps you humble and grounded, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do you deal with, because you're quite a well-known name within our borders and beyond. How do you stay grounded? Because it must be hard when you...
First, the easiest way for me is number one, my wife. My wife, first of all. And then the friends that have known me even before all this. The people who I still have friends around me. We live near each other. Our children play together. And we've known each other since university. Friends we met in university. Before all of this, when we were all skinny and just tired kids trying to find a way.
And finally, do you think your work is still evolving? Is there a standard to come which we may not have seen yet? Do you feel there are other peaks to climb?
No, definitely. I feel like that's life,
You just started.
It's like anytime, the beauty of life is that you're always climbing a peak. And I feel that feeling like you're working towards something is important. But we should not be confused to think that after we get to that mountain, that's it. You just get to the peak, and you're high enough to notice the other peaks ahead.
Yes.
Anyway,
Okay. Mutua Matheka, it's been good to have you on the backseat.
It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you. Mutua, the Truthslinger, is lucky indeed, isn't he? He gets up every morning and does the work that he loves doing, his art, his passion. And this means that lots of very good work ensues. But most of us don't have that luxury. So I hope you caught what he said there. It's still work. It still needs dedication. It still takes all sorts of perspiration to produce that sort of quality. It still needs a business model. It's still extremely demanding hard work. The lesson, I think, for all of us there is that if you want your work to have true greatness attached to it, you have to engage with the work itself. You have to love what you're doing. We don't all have the luxury of doing what we love, but love what you do is something available to everyone. And if we can find a few drops of that passion, just for the work itself, not the output, not the result, not the reward, I think greatness lies ahead for all of us. Thank you so much for being with us on The Backseat.